But the Lord didn't call me to do it perfect. He called me to do it.
God, you call me by my name. The love you give me, I just can't deny.
Hello, welcome to the Genuine Belief Podcast. I'm your host, Genuinely. This is the first episode of this podcast, and thank you for tuning in, first and foremost. I wanted to really touch on the topic of obedience today. So, I just want to talk about how God requires our obedience and not our help. I think it's so easy to be in a place of in between when it comes to what the Lord has called you to do versus what it is that the vision that call will lead to. It's so common for us to be impatient, for us to, really want to get the ball rolling. Once we get the vision, we want it to be there already as soon as we, hear about it. But that's not how the Lord works. He requires our obedience first. Like, he can give us a preview of something and, tell us that this thing is coming. But for it to come, we have to be obedient to what it is that he's called us to do. And I think that it's so important to really be mindful in that season of waiting, in that season of, in between from when the promise is given or when you're called to do something versus when the fruit of that is seen, because that is where the lessons are learned. That's when the preparation happens, through your obedience, not through your helping hand of the Lord, but through your obedience. And if you look throughout the Bible, there's nowhere that the Lord requires somebody to help him. The Lord only requires their obedience. If you look at Moses, when he was by the burning bush, he came to the burning bush, and the Lord required his obedience to go back to Egypt. He didn't require his help. It's when we try helping instead of being obedient to the call when we get ourselves in trouble, most times. And often, whenever we're in that position of trying to help the Lord, it's when we are showing that we are lacking patience. It's showing that we are fearful that the Lord may not do what it is that he said he would do, or may not fulfill his promises to us. And that just exposes a greater heart issue that we must surrender to the Lord, because we can't fix it. Because if we could fix it, if we could help in fixing it, then we would, so we have to surrender that to the Lord. And I think that that is so common, that we do have this lackadaisical faith in the Lord in a way. And it's like, I trust the Lord. I trust that he will provide this for me, but I think I need to help him to do this so that it can come faster, or so that it can come in the way that I expect it to come, which that's when you need to surrender. That's when you need to surrender, when you're feeling like you need to help the Lord instead of just being obedient to what it is that he's telling you to do. A great example, a great picture of that from the Bible is found in Genesis 16 through 18, where Abraham and Sarah are promised a child, and time has passed, and all this anticipation buildup has caused for disappointment. And Sarah is telling Abraham that he should go sleep with her servant Hagar to conceive a child, and that way she would be a surrogate. Hagar will be a surrogate, and that's how she'll be able to have a son that will carry on the lineage that the Lord has promised them. But that's not what the Lord said. The Lord said that Sarah would be the one to birth this child, that Sarah would be the one to, be the mother of these many nations. But because she was impatient, because she was fearful that the Lord wouldn't make good on his promise, she went trying to help and gave Hagar to be a surrogate mother in a way, and birthed this child who was illegitimate in a way too, that wasn't what the Lord promised. That's not what the Lord told them to do. But you see later on in Genesis 17 that the Lord comes again and restates that he has promised that Sarah would be the one to conceive and to birth a child, even despite her old age. Because at this point, Abraham and Sarah are old and far beyond birthing, child rearing years and stuff like that. So it just made it even more impossible seeming because of the fact that so much time has passed since the initial word of that promise was spoken over them. So in chapter 18, Sarah becomes pregnant and gives birth to their son Isaac. And that just shows that even though they did try to help and make a mess of things, the Lord still kept his promise and the Lord still fulfilled his promise. And the Lord only required their obedience the whole time. Like, he didn't ask them to go and try to make a easy way out, because that wouldn't glorify him. You know, it glorifies him when the unlikely happens. It glorifies him when he uses the things that don't make sense in this world. And he did that through their old age having this son. If the Lord has already told you, oh yes, I'm going to make you a such and such, that doesn't require your helping hand. That just requires your obedience. And even for me, I mean, like, for a long time, I felt like I'm being pushed to talk more, to do more things like this, starting this podcast. This podcast, honestly, I'm not gonna hold you. It's about 2 years, like 2 years late, because I was calling myself helping the Lord by trying to make sure things were perfect. But the Lord didn't call me to do it perfect. He called me to do it, So it's just things like that where, you may be called to, starting a more healthy fitness journey or lifestyle and making sure you're eating well, making sure you're working out, whatever. And the Lord may just be calling you to start slowly, first things first, just start walking more. First things first, make sure you're eating breakfast, not skipping meals. Like, it can be the small things that the Lord is calling you to do first, and through your obedience, the routine will come. Through your obedience, more will be added to you, because then the Lord can trust you with this little part so he can add more onto you, and then it be even more fruitful. It can be even more beneficial to you and to those around you. So I think that it's really important to assess your heart and assess where it is that you are with being obedient to the Lord, because it's so easy to fall into the cycle of, okay, well, I'll, being putting things off and procrastinating, saying, oh, I'll do this when da 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 da, when the time is right, when the time is right, when the time is right. But if the Lord has given you this time right now, it might be right. If you're finding it difficult in this season to trust the Lord, I would challenge you to ask the Lord to assess your heart, ask the Lord to search your heart, and to show you the areas that you've yet to surrender, and then surrender them. Because though it's easier said than done, it's a necessary part of the Christian walk to surrender those things that have yet to be surrendered, so that the Lord could do a new thing in your life. Because honestly, those growing pains are painful, but they are so worth it. If you made it this far, leave a like and subscribe so you can be sure to know the next time I post. I'm planning on being pretty consistent, so I think you would want to subscribe. Let's encourage one another in the comment section down below. Post a comment about how the Lord has shown up for you and how he's kept a promise to you, or something of that sort. He loves you, I love you, and genuinely be blessed. Bye.
God, you call me by my name. The love you give me, I just can't deny. Yeah.